A very good evening and welcome to the Indie Global Waste Management Summit. My name is TP Venu. I'm the editorial head at the Indie Global Media Network, and I am right now in Hyderabad at the Indie Global Media Center, welcoming everyone across India and the world for the summit. It's a real honor and my privilege to welcome our esteemed panelists. To begin with, firstly, I would like to invite Tarun Kathula, Director, Sub-Office, Hyderabad, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Government of India. Welcome, sir. Now I would like to call N. Ravinder, Chief Scientist, R&D, EPTRI, Hyderabad. Next, I would like to invite Dr. Shubodh, Director, PGDM, ASCII, Hyderabad.
Good evening, all.
Welcome, sir. Next, I would like to invite Professor GVRK Acharyulu, Program Advisor, MBA Healthcare and Hospital Management, School of Management Studies, University of Hyderabad.
Thank you,
Welcome,
sir.
sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next, I would like to invite Dr. B. Kishore Reddy, CEO and MD, Amor Hospitals, Hyderabad.
Good evening, everyone.
Welcome, sir. Next, I would like to invite SSS Murli, Senior Environmental Engineer, AP Pollution Control Board.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome,
Thank
sir.
you. Good evening to all the panel members.
Next, I would like to invite Dr. Rani Shashmita, Deputy Collector, Andhra Pradesh.
Good evening, panelists.
I would not take much time and I would hand over the session to Dr. Rani. The session today, the panel discussion is today on biomedical and hospital waste. Madam, you can please take it away.
Thank you, Venu, for handling me over the session. So, as we proceed with the session, we'll start one by one. We'll see the views and opinions of each one in the order as Venu have called. So, we'll go ahead. So, we'll start with Tarun Katula, sir. Sir, the floor is open to you. So, you can please proceed ahead and enlighten us with your inputs on biomedical waste and hospitals.
Thank you, Dr. Rani, and let me thank Indie Globe Media Network for organizing this two-day workshop, and I'm happy that I am being invited for this biomedical waste. So this biomedical waste is very close to my heart, this topic, because earlier, before coming to the Hyderabad, I was Director Biosafety, and I was the Member Secretary for Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee. So we all know that during 1921, 2021, 22, we witnessed the pandemic. And the pandemic is actually an outrage from a laboratory, and this completely relates to your biomedical waste, how the disposal has to be done. So I was in that hard times, and I was also member for RCGI, Review Committee on Genetic Manipulation, where this two vaccine got approved. So not only the biomedical waste contain a lot of living organisms, and we cannot predict if we cannot treat properly and release into the environment. So as per the EP Act, we are very pioneers in setting up, and we have opened as many as rules that can be framed under EP Act. That is a boon that our forerunner environmentalist has drafted the act in such a way that whatever the issue, we can draft the rules. In the similar way, we have biomedical waste rules. And as per the definition, any waste which is generated during the diagnosis, treatment, or immunization of for animals, I want to underline this, or in research activities. So this has to be taken care also, because the COVID, which is a global pandemic, has come out from research activities which was happened from other parts of the country across the globe, or in the production or testing of biologicals. biological similars maybe, or it can be any research or any hospital. We cannot relate that only into only hospital. The biomedical waste is a very broad spectrum of rules that help us in mitigating the negative impacts of this virus or disease that will that can easily pass to humans, atmosphere. It can multiply and then become invasive alien species. Moreover, so like that, the first draft of this rule came in 1995, and second draft was happened for these rules in 1997. And the first notification happened initially in 1998, but it was amended in 2003 also, and later now in 2016 we are with final biomedical waste management rules, and they are in operation. So apart from this, there are two major segments which we can segregate, that is healthcare facilities and common biomedical waste treatment facilities are the main components here if we go. So you all know healthcare facilities, they have to follow their, especially the microbial waste, blood waste samples, blood bags and different, and they have to sterilize, and there are pool of standard operation procedures to mitigate that. Similarly, we can see the same in common biomedical waste treatment facilities also. So these are a bit, whereas the in-house, there are healthcare facilities are in-house, and the common are there are group of hospitals we can share. So in layman, I am speaking. So as per Rule 3 of the biomedical rules, no occupier shall establish on-site treatment and disposal facility if a CBWTF is available at a distance of 75 kilometers. So this is also very important point in segregation and disposal of this biomedical waste. So we can have a procedure for authorization of various forms. Under biomedical waste, there is a form 2 which we can apply. Maybe our PCB persons will more deliberate on this, and there will be an advisory committees both at state level and district level. Now even I witnessed a case in Khammam where one infant died of a needle which was not properly sterilized. And the DMHO, who is part of district collector, district committee, and she is a member secretary, she almost went on inspection and closed whichever are not following this proper segregation, and they don't have any agreement with the collector. Even I got, being in regional office, I got information that even dental hospitals are being closed because it's not about the magnitude of the hospital or area. It's actually you have to follow the rules and regulations. That is very important. And if any grievances are also there, you can have grievance and appeal to the government and secretary of state government and unit. This can be redressed also. That is also there. And moreover, the segregation bins, as we all know, they are colored. There are yellow bins, red bins, white bins, the blue bins. Blue bins generally broken glasses, vials, and apples. This can also be explained by my colleagues. I think I don't plan to go inside. But apart from these two things, I was closely involved in framing a guidelines for establishment of containment facilities. That is for BSL2 and BSL3 and certification of BSL3 faculties when I was director of biodiversity. BSL1 is biosafety labs 2 and 3 because these are very important. These labs actually handles hazardous ranking 3 and 2 and 3 ranked this virus or bacteria which are really hazardous. And I think hazardous 4 organisms we have National of Virology and 1 or 2 only in India. But whenever these vaccines and these kind of things are coming for COVID, we thought of that these organisms which are being handled for hazardous organisms 2 and 3 also to be properly monitored. So we have prepared a guidelines for establishment of containment mechanism. Again, to our surprise, this containment of these guidelines are also covered under EP Act only. So this is the beauty of EP Act, and especially these are implemented to Department of Biotechnology. These guidelines have been adopted in accordance with national and international references, guidance and regulations. And these guidelines can also be accessed from the website. And I request all the audience, this is the frontier size which is happening because all the hospitals they register along with the research bodies. So this is a very, if you want to develop, even ICMR AIMS has conducted in-house clinical trials for Covaxin. So this hospital and this research also go ahead, especially when the organisms are there. This kind of containment facilities and rules are also to be followed. So I am with this. I will stop because I have given only 5 to 6 or 8 minutes. So I am very thankful to all my colleague speakers also and to the audience who are here, and especially Indie Globe Media Network. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tarun sir. That has been very quick and very elaborative. Actually, your insights on the whole spectrum of biomedical waste and the action to be taken from the hospital and for its disposal is indeed the need of the hour. So, coming to the next speaker, just a second. I think just give me a second. So I think it is Nalimikonda Ravinder, sir. So, Mr. Nalimikonda Ravinder, Chief Scientist. So, can you proceed ahead with your insights on biomedical waste management so that, we'll discuss further.
Yeah. Good evening to all in the global media and all panelists. I am very happy to be associated with this panel discussions. I worked in pollution control board earlier for more than 33 years and now working in EPTR. So with vast experience in biomedical and all waste facilities I have seen. So today actually I want to see what is the, because biomedical waste rules came, 2016 rules are very stringent and most modern, the amended rules also 2018 and 19 is given so many inputs to be done. Especially what I have done a third-party audit for Telangana Pollution Control Board recently, and some glaring anomalies or some improvements are needed wherever biomedical waste incinerator facilities that I have observed. So what are the things are that is that whenever we have seen most of the hospitals earlier there is a very poor segregation, but nowadays most of the big hospitals, large hospitals are properly segregating into yellow, red, blue and white. So we are lucky. But what is happening is, whenever they selected, all hospitals are having a small room. This small room is not sufficient for 4 compartmentalizations. Actually, separate compartmentalization is needed, but very congested. Small hospitals still we don't bother. So all there's excellent collection is there, but everything they are putting in one room. So that from one room, these transporters of biomedical waste incinerator facilitators or operators are taking up. So that is the first thing. That is a lot of good things are taken place in hospital, but it is not being transported properly. Second thing is, even these operators also, because of so many hospitals and other things, they should take separately yellow bag, red bag, everything is separately because treatments are totally separate. So, but when we have seen many of the containers, some of the operators, when we have audited, we found that all yellow bags, red bags, everything is mixed together, which is actually not a correct procedure. So even though we have created awareness, that is the problem. Thing is, then immediately all the waste coming to the operator facility, we have our 11 facilities total all over India, around more than 200 common biomedical waste facilities. In Telangana, we have around 11 medical facilities. So where this comes also, there they have to already segregate and put it separate areas in yellow, red. But generally they will just simply dump everything in one place and slowly they will segregate it. That is also not the correct practice, what I observed. So then treatment is needed. So yellow bags are especially for incineration or plasma. The plasma is not there anywhere else. Only incineration is the correct procedure to burn all yellow anatomical waste and other things. What I observed is okay. Most of the treatment plants are excellent using then the primary, everything to be burned in the primary chamber at 800 degrees and secondary chamber at 1050 degrees with 2 seconds residence time. Then of course excellent online records are there, immediate quenching, everything is there. In spite of that, what we observed during monitoring is that sometimes combustion is should be more than 99%, but it is 2 or 3 places it is very less, 98 or 90. So that means they are also not fully aware. They never carried out. Problem is that they don't know. They know they are routinely they're doing, but they have not done proper monitoring of combustion efficiency, which is failure. So that means either excess air should be there, or manually they are simply putting everything in one place. So that is maybe causing the things. We found dioxins and furans also in 2 or 3 units out of the limb. That is also dangerous. That means still chlorinated organics are still entering. As per rules, BMW rules 2018, totally phasing out of chlorinated organics should be phased, but seems to be coming. Once, not only that, this incineration, after incineration, the ash is stored in the same premises and sent to hazardous waste site. That's okay. Most of wherever I have seen all hazardous waste criteria, landfill criteria, they are meeting, very happy. But in 1 or 2 places, what I have seen is injections, needles, syringe bottles, everything is found in that ash, which is actually not supposed to do. Actually, they should come into the red bags. They came into the yellow bags and just entered into the ash. But that is improper segregation somewhere in the hospitals. In the front end, it was taken place. That is the only one thing. Second is, whatever the quenching water, that after incineration, a lot of water is used for quenching purpose to 400 degrees. The quenching water is sent to ETP. Most of the facilities are, I think, all over India also, many places, even Andhra Pradesh also, simply just cooling, separation of suspended solids and separation of oil and distillery. There is no biological treatment so far anywhere here. Actually, we require either to have biological treatment, or it should be at least a tertiary treatment plant. Let have pressure sand filter and activated carbon filter, so that they will get clear water, so that same water can be used either for irrigation, for plantation purpose, or maybe used for quenching purpose. Otherwise, the same water, same dirty water is being used. That is my second observation regarding effluents. Third observation is autoclave. Most of the places autoclave is okay, but autoclave also there are 2-3. They have to run 3 to 4 cycles of operation needed for total red bags, that is contaminated tubes and plastic waste. So temperature is okay, 121 degrees maintaining, but sufficient residence time is there. For this purpose, we have conducted spore test. So geobacillus, some bacteria, vials are there. When we put vial, some of the vials slightly failed. Excuse me, failed. So this indicates sometimes autoclave also. 99% of course working, but one or few cases we found that sufficient autoclave residence time they are not provided. So these are some of the main important observations. Of course, in addition to that, as per especially biomedical waste rules, website should be having all the information. None of the website is having any info. Website should have CFO, CFE. Website should have annual report. Website should have all the hospital facilities, list of the hospitals. What is the charges that is being levied also? Nothing is available. Even they should have GPS tracking. Tracking is there, user password, everything is there, but we don't know. So whether you don't know, GPS is there. So even especially COVID app, is it there? COVID app in many places. Whatever the monitoring data is required, that is also not. So mainly still all are having excellent websites, but the required information as per 2018 is missing. So these are some of my major observations. Especially proper segregation, we require training. That is whatever the rules came. Still after 2018, 19, 20, 23, after 5 years also, there is an urgent need of training needed for hospitals and hospital waste facilities and other things. I think with this, because remaining on barcoding and other things, my other colleague will explain better, I think, than things. So that's why I'm leaving only monitoring aspect. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ravinder. Those are really indeed very, very inside observations. Actually, most of them have been addressed today morning at the inaugural session, especially as you are talking the barcode tracking. So even we were talking about, backtracking as well. Tracking anyhow though done, but backtracking of waste as well, so that we should be knowing where the waste generated and where the waste disposed especially. And coming to the forms you are talking about, the 5th revised rules of CPCB biomedical waste policy have 2 proformas, form A, form B. So form B is especially audit form, for scientists like you and for many government officials who needs to go and regularly check all the biomedical waste disposal units. So even that has been addressed in the today's inaugural session. Yeah, very nice to know that people like you are very cautious and very insightful on the issues which are happening at the ground level. Yeah, that's totally true. And coming to um, the treatment procedures, as you said, plasma is yet to come. Plasma technology, autoclaving. There is a process called extreme autoclaving, in which you said there will be 3 or 4 iterations of autoclaving, so that the temperature can be increased and spores can be totally destroyed. That is maintained at many of the places. And for the one solution which for the one thing which you have told, there is congestion of all for segregation of bags. So for that also, there should be waste management points of big hospitals should take the responsibilities, or vendors should take the responsibilities of waste management points, where small hospitals can deliver the bins and they can segregate it properly, and they can be handed over to sanitary workers or to the waste disposal plants. So that one also came into the discussion today. So indeed, that's very insightful observations from your end, and definitely, hopefully, we can address all those issues and we can come up with a very strong biomedical policy, very strong biomedical policy implementation in coming days. So thank you, Ravinder. So next, the floor is open to Subodh sir. So sir, the floor is open to you.
Thank you, Indie Global, for this opportunity. Thank you, Dr. Rani Sushmita. You are also an academic and a policy maker, so it's a great combo, actually. Thanks for those nice words. Thanks to my other esteemed panelists. It's nice to connect with all of you. I think, as you rightly said, in the inaugural session itself, some of the discussions have already happened. What I would like to sort of highlight here is to talk a little bit about the challenges very briefly, and some of the best practices, and mostly about the strategy, because at the end of the day we have to look at sort of a national level policy implementation. And since we are talking about hospitals, and we all know that COVID has sort of brought in the importance of biomedical. It was already there, but I think COVID times, I think the waste have actually sort of increased. I think a lot of studies showed that from 0.5 kg per bed, I think it has gone to 2.5 kg. But at the same time, people said, no, there's a lockdown. People may not have used it. The pollution levels have come down. But what has actually happened is, if you see the health sector growing, I think we see newer and newer hospitals, newer and newer beds being constructed. So we know that this is a problem which is going to be there. And it is not something new which we need to do, but we need to sort of address some of these. Like in COVID times, people never thought about how we are going to dispose the PPE kits or those type of issues. So, and those also create a lot of these environmental concerns. So my few suggestions, I think, what the concerns will be on the different issues, like for example, when we are on the quarantine, was there any door-to-door collection of the waste? Because hospitals, yes, it is there, but what happens if you have a quarantine center tomorrow? If at all a pandemic or if newer comes, how are we going to address? I know all offshoots of these hospitals. So hospitals at the urban areas, we are good, but what about the hospitals at the primary care level? When a pandemic happens, it's not just always at the urban areas. You need to look at the district level, at the primary, and we are looking at health and wellness centers, where even sub-centers are going to be the place where there could be sort of activities which are happening. So what are the ways by which, as a policy, you can actually have biomedical waste management principles at the different levels? What actually happens when you have a sort of an emergency situation? What sort of different policies you need to adopt? These are something which, and my previous panel has already highlighted the importance of the training and awareness. So I think we did a lot of training about awareness about COVID and the information education communication or behavioral change communication. But when it comes to biomedical waste management, even now I have a feeling many of them are not fully sort of utilized or not been trained for. In the hospitals, if you ask them which bag is for which, nowadays I think a lot of best practices are coming, certain waste now should be in a black bag. For example, the PPE kit should be in a different color bag. So these types. And also from a common man perspective, how do you handle these sort of ways? Do you just put it in the normal one? So I'm just taking an offshoot along with the hospitals also to the common man, because at the end of the day, we are actually as a community, we need to sort of move forward. The second thing very important I want to discuss is, a lot of countries have done excellent methods. I think we all know that how countries like China have, used industrial furnaces or in mega mobile incinerators, mobile autoclaves. These are technology which can be used, and different color codes being used, what sort of trainings they have done and trying to reduce waste. But at the end of the day, we also need to look at sort of a strategy, because India as a country, we need to sort of adopt to what is to our local ecology. We can't just, I have this entire problem of these best practices being replicated blindly. We need to also see what is our sort of population, what sort of things, what we can do. And we, as you said, we also need something related to the urban context as well as the rural context. So what sort of knowledge of waste and how do we do that? So a lot of this local ecology has to be discussed, and a lot of awareness has to be sort of created. And what I've found is that one of the things, and I'm very happy that in this panel we have a lot of academic institutions coming in, we need to actually look at these as studies. I haven't seen much. I think a lot of people who are studying it, but I think if you look at the hospital management students, biomedical waste management is not your preferred topic, but it's a very important area to look at some of the data coming out. Where do actually these hospital waste going? How are they doing it? What sort of awareness is there? So along with your OPD, IPD, your turnaround times or the discharge thing, I think you also look at some of these issues, because these have sort of a lot of health implications for a longer period. We also need to look at the redefining the entire hospital sector. Now, I think there is post-COVID, one of the things have come is we don't need to go to the hospital for everything. But having at the same time, that way you will reduce waste. But at the same time, you have your large number of hospitals coming, large number of beds coming in. We are better in newer technology. So we need to sort of be ready for those things also. And the most important thing is also about the collaborations. So it's not just only academic institutions, the hospitals, the pollution control board, some of the scientists in organizations. We need to look at that cohesive, all of them together. And I always have this fascination, and I think I don't say that we haven't done well. There have been excellent best practices even in Hyderabad. I am actually personally visited, there's one in Hyderabad. We have the Ramki group. I think they have actually done excellent. I think they have collaborated with a lot of these hospitals, both in the public and the private sector. So more as a PPP, where I think they do this collection, they do the sorting, and then they have landfills associated. And if you go to those places, you will not even know that such ways are actually being done professionally. So we need to look at those sort of best practices, document them, and these type of summits actually help bring together and take these to the sort of next level, because even that's what I think WHO has also sort of specified. They've come out with their latest thing, and they've got a lot of manuals on how does it cost to do a biomedical waste management, how much is there important to monitor the whole thing, how to do a rapid assessment of these, and what sort of policies can be done. So basically, we need to look at sort of differential policies. What should be a biomedical waste management for hospitals at the tertiary level, secondary level, primary level, at the PHC level? And I think we can come together and come out with policy suggestions. And I'm sure this platform will be very useful for that. I will stop here, and we'll take questions later. Thank you.
Thank you, Subodh sir. That's indeed true. The point which you have highlighted is like we need localized policies rather than centralized policy disseminating into local areas, because one policy might not fit especially to rural and urban places. So that's totally definitely we are on it as well, and that is totally understandable, because if you can't merge an urban policy with a rural policy, and in this current post-COVID era, which is new kind of biomedical wastes are getting generated. Like if you see household biomedical wastes are also getting increased. Like just disposal of including diapers or sanitary napkins are also getting increased. So we definitely need to look into very well-versed local policies which can merge with central policy, and I totally agree with you, and that's indeed one very good perspective to look into the policy making. Thank you sir, thank you for your inputs. And coming to next speaker, Dr. GVRK Acharyulu sir, the floor is up to you. So you can shower your insights, then we'll
Yeah.
discuss.
So, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay. So, thank you, Dr. Rani Susmita, and also other panelists. So, thanks to IndiGlobal for giving me opportunity to give a talk on waste management. Particularly, I'll be giving you some of the aspects of technology interventions and also monitoring for disposal of biomedical waste. And in this aspect, actually, some of we also discussed about some technologies already. But the technology is a key enabler for any system. So you cannot depend on completely technology and blame the technology. But how do we make use of the technology? That is very important. And proper manpower, training, skilled workforce, all these things have to be ensured before using a technology. Right technology, right place, but doesn't mean that implementation and outcome that you have to see. So this generation of waste, biomedical waste, it is increasing day by day. That too in the during COVID and post-COVID era. So it has been increased enormously, and it is going to be alarming state. According to the CPCB statistics, I think the quantity of biomedical waste generated in India is actually 619 tons per day in 2018 and 19, but it is increased to 775, 780 tons per day. And also it is likely to increase. And at the rate of 7%, it is increasing as per the statistics. So now with this increase in biomedical waste, so now the technologies, we have to invest in new technologies. That is essential. Otherwise, it's very difficult to monitor, difficult to control, and difficult to manage the biomedical waste management. So if it is not collected, if it is not segregated, if it is not, if you see, disposed properly, then the repercussion, and it poses a severe risk to human health and environment and affect the hindrance to sustainable development goals. So that's why effective management of biomedical waste is not only legal necessity and also social responsibility. So looking at different technologies, already we have seen the conventional technologies like autoclaving, and of course autoclaving is expensive, but we have to see that how different complementary technologies are coming up to reduce the cost of autoclaving and incineration, and then also micro sterilization that might have discussed in the morning session. So it is most environment friendly and is new technology. And chemical treatment, of course, most economical, but chemicals, if you don't treat properly, chemicals again, it is going to be a disaster. And as we discussed, plasma pyrolysis, as suggested by DSW, it is coming up in a big way in future. It is going to convert biomedical waste to non-hazardous substance, from biomedical waste, non-hazardous substance. And also, if you see other technologies like nanotechnology, upcoming technology, nanotechnologies. So using nanotechnologies, different new materials are going to be invented. How these new types of disinfectants can be identified using this nanotechnology, so that the disposal and the cleaning of environment, will be there. And then coming to the biotechnology, as you are aware, that microorganisms, so you can identify new enzymes, how to break and destroy biomedical waste management. So these are all different conventional technologies and emerging technologies and nanotechnology and biotechnology. But coming to the information technology, digital technologies, artificial intelligence is fast growing, and it is penetrating into every area, not only biomedical waste management. So without the digital technologies, I think it is very difficult to survive, and you have to develop a artificial intelligence systems of monitoring and managing. So this artificial intelligence system, you have different tools are there. So how to track the movement of biomedical waste from the point of generation to point of or you can say final disposal. So the entire, all the stages are very important. It's not that only disposal, from segregation onwards. So each stage, the technology is going to be monitoring and tracking and tracing. So, as you said, RFID tags, some of the hospitals are already being using tracking movement of this thing containers. So, right container, right material is there or not, and any kind of mistake that happens, you can easily identify. Then GPS monitoring, and this GPS monitoring is going to track movement of vehicles and unauthorized locations and right vehicle or not. All these things you can track using this GPS. Of course, barcodes also there. So here what happens is there are other sensors like IoT devices. These are all going to monitor the temperature and humidity and then other environmental conditions. So this is one kind of AI technology which is revolutionizing entire all the industries. So we have to make use of all the different technologies like the GPS, RFID, barcodes, and other sensors. And also one more technology that is coming up, that is solar disinfection technology, solar cookers for waste, biomedical waste cooking. So with the different capacities and sizes are coming up, this is going to be more economical. And also one more technology under part of artificial intelligence is blockchain technology. So this is going to be really to control and transparent and tamper-proof recording of biomedical data, and also it creates accountability and also traceability. So, and one more aspect that you see, if technology intervention, there is a government of India move by Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. So that is for waste management. So biomedical waste is also included. And then if you see mobile apps for reporting, so biomed waste, their mobile apps are there. So they are going to, healthcare workers are going to report the data online and real time, and real time reporting will be there. There will not be any communication gap. And centralized waste treatment facilities also coming up. And you can see that how online complaint repository data can be possible using this web-enabled technologies, and you can also monitor through these web-enabled technologies. But these are some of the technologies that we are aware of. But if you see from the monitoring perspective, one is tracking of waste tracking using technology, and also audits. As one of the panelists suggested, waste audits also be done continuously, and environmental monitoring also. What is impact of this environment with the impact of biomedical waste on the environmental air quality and water quality and soil qualities. And these things are, of course, some of the hospitals are already they're using closed circuit television CCTV surveillance also there, so that they can identify any kind of mistakes that they can identify. And these are all different technologies that are going to be there. So anyhow, but the most important thing is in future looking at the generation of biomedical waste, and capacity is less, and you have to look at setting up more facilities, satellite facilities and physical facilities, connecting the facilities, and then recruiting people, skilled people, technical people, and giving training and creating awareness, and also investment in technology. These are all very, very important. With this, I think we'll open for discussion next level.
Thank you, sir. That's very indeed insightful. From starting from conventional technologies to current blockchain and artificial intelligence, you have covered each and everything. So that is very broad spectrum of technological advances you have put in forth of us. So that's totally true. Like we need to go along with the technology, and actually, technological intervention will reduce the exposure of mankind to biomedical waste. That is indeed necessary in current world today, because whoever it might be handling biomedical waste is always hazardous. So technological intervention can definitely reduce that point of contact between humans and biomedical waste collection. And hopefully we'll go with advanced technologies and emerging technologies soon, and we might reduce that human intervention in biomedical waste management. Thank you, sir, for the insightful session. And now the floor is open to Mr. B. Kishore Reddy, CEO and MD, Amor Hospitals. The floor is open to you, sir.
Good evening, everyone, and honor, ma'am. And it's an honor to speak in front of all of you. And thank you, madam. I'm going to put forward my view on or our view on how the hospitals actually process this biomedical waste and what are the challenges that we face. And before that, I would like to actually thank Indie Global for actually giving me opportunity of being a part of this summit. And in fact, actually, I should say that this is my first summit on biomedical waste. It was always a academic session where I talk about my surgeries, etc., or something like how I have graduated from a consultant to an entrepreneur, but this is a unique one, and my fellow panelists they have really opened my eyes at looking at a bird's eye view of how this biomedical waste is managed and all. Now, on ground, what are the challenges that we usually face in biomedical waste? The first thing what the hospital has a problem is about the generation of biomedical waste. So, as if any of these aforesaid technologies or innovations, if they contribute in decreasing the production of biomedical waste, I think that is the first step that we need to focus on. And because if you do that, obviously the exposure to the biomedical waste and the consequences of all those will be reduced definitely. Coming on to the when we deal with biomedical waste in hospital, there are three pertinent things that we look at. Number one is the safety of the workers or the people who handle those biomedical waste. That is the topmost priority for us. Second thing is the other patients who are there in the hospital. We should be careful that there are no cross infections or there is no spillage of these biomedical waste, and then they are exposed to unnecessary things. And the third thing, obviously, to the society and the environment, that is as a responsible citizens as well as the entrepreneurs or hospital owners or anything like that, we have a responsibility towards the society as well as the environment. So our problem starts with the collection. Once we do say surgery or in the OPDs, we collect the material there, and then we put it into different categories and put it into, say, white for sharps, etc., that are blue for the glassware, or the red for recyclable bio-waste, and yellow for the other things. So we do that, and the problem starts because the people who handle that are usually the nursing staff or the housekeeping staff. So the problem is that many of these people, but they are not very well educated, and the attrition of these people are very, very high. So there comes the part of training them and making them aware of what are the problems involved in doing this, and what is the importance of doing this. Many times we find that something which is supposed to be put in white has been put into, say, red. I'm just giving you an example. So that is the importance of actually training these people and trying to make sure that they handle the things properly. Then after that, the segregation problem comes. Now, segregation is also done by the same people, and then we have to safely pack them and then put it into a different zones, as previous speaker told that there are 3 or 4 different zones that we put, or different rooms that we put in, and then the vendor comes, transports, and then disposes. So basically, the emphasis is here for us, especially after COVID, because in COVID, almost all of us have got exposed, and all of us have had COVID. I mean, that's the fact of life, and we are fine. But the thing is that the problem is that this is COVID was totally out of blue that we have got. We were not prepared for it. Now all we were talking about are some things what we are prepared for surgery. In surgery we know that, okay, fine, this happens, but COVID is something which has got us exposed to something, a different dimension, because we don't know what is actually infective, what is not. Even probably a breath is infective. That was the initial time of COVID. That was what, even if a person is there in the room, it spreads to everyone. So I know when it comes to that extent, then we going by the queue of it, probably we should be more prepared for such kind of pandemics in the future if they come. I just hope God that it doesn't, but we should be prepared for that. And we should also train our manpower to actually enable us to tackle such problems if and when they come. That will not. I mean, as the previous speakers have pointed out, and Dr. Subodh also pointed out, that hospitals are of different categories. In urban hospital like our hospital and all, they're very well set systems. And we do have allocated budget to take care of quality and biomedical waste, etc., etc. The same may not be true for a small 10-bedded hospital in a small remote area in a village or a township area, and the challenge there comes at the cost part. So whenever we use the best practice and try to implement these stringent protocols and the methods and all, it does cost us a lot of money, which has to be factored in when the government or the insurance companies, etc., they actually come out with some policy about the costing for a particular medical condition. See, ultimately, it might be just a fever that we are treating, but we don't know what kind of fever that is. Can it be infective? Can it not be infective? Can it be communicable disease or not? We don't know. So the best practice, they do come at a cost. And at microscopic level, at a macroscopic level, at a framework of the national or regional level, probably it doesn't make too much of a difference. But at a unit level, at a microscopic level, at a hospital level, it does make a difference, because hospital care runs on at a very thin margin. I'm purely talking about the private care. Private centers. So this part, I would humbly request madam and all the people who devise policy here to keep this in mind, because if we implement some best practices and some SOPs and protocols, it should be affordable to all the hospitals per se. So again, coming on to the technology, as rightly pointed out by Dr. Acharya, then the first technology I would wish and I would hope that the technology comes in to see if we can recycle these materials. So the technology is not just disposal of this safe disposal, but also probably to recycle this. That will actually take down the burden, as well as it will cut down the cost also. Because if something is recyclable and using the AI for this, in segregating what is what, and what can be recycled, what is at different zones of hazardness, and etc., will definitely help us. So that will actually decrease the production of the biomedical waste also. So using AI and recyclable technology for decreasing the production as such of biomedical waste will greatly help. So I would like to just edit this note, telling that what basically problems are there at the microscopic level, and what, in my view and my 2 cents of what can be done for this. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kishore. That's true. You have rightly emphasized that unit level planning, especially, is required when you are segregating waste, because without basic planning and basic segregation, the entire procedure or entire SOPs will fail. That's totally true. That is totally understandable as well. So, as you have rightly pointed out, that every node should be taken care of during waste disposal, and every node should be given proper training and proper implementation of biomedical waste policies which we are having. So then only we can actually do the needful. If not, as you said, the policy will fail at one or the other node, and again entire efforts will go into vain, right? So that's totally true, and definitely I'll keep that in mind. And we also have such sorts of discussion in today's inaugural session, as I've pointed out. And that's one more thing you have emphasized on technological interventions, as Acharyulu has interpreted. Yeah, that's totally true. Intervention of technology is certainly the need of the. Thank you for your insights. And coming to the next speaker, Shri SSS Murli, senior engineer. The floor is over to you, Mr. Murli. So you can pour in your insights. Thank you.
Good afternoon, madam. I thank Indie Global for giving me an opportunity to present the AP case of biomedical waste management. I will use my slides to present my case. 1 second, please. Yeah, this left side portion is the entire life cycle of the biomedical waste, as you all know, and the right side is the 4-pin system that presently being followed as per the rules. And this is the rule position. These are all the various rules. Rule 4 says color coded bags. Rule 4 says barcode system, QR code system to be followed. Rule 4 reporting of major accidents. Rule 5C will talk about timely collection of biomedical waste by CPWTFs. Rule 5D talks about barcode system following by to be followed by CPWTF. Rule 10 about authorizations to be mandated requirement for HCF and CPWTFs. And Rule 13, that is for annual reports. And Rule 14, record maintenance. Part 2.5 is disposal, that talks about how the disposal of incineration action. This is the status of biomedical waste management in the AP. We have about 84 200 bedded, about 200 bedded hospitals, 1,281 about 250 bed hospitals, 5,000 change less than 50 bedded hospital. Apart from these, we have unbedded hospitals, about 10,000 hospitals, and veterinary hospitals we are shortly bringing into the ambit of the rules. We just opened a discussion with the Animal Husbandry Department, and we started giving training to the Animal Husbandry Department, and we take them onto the board. And we have 12 common facilities covering the entire state, and presently we are managing about 480 tons per month of biomedical waste. These are the, being last speaker, I think it is very difficult for me to speak because most of these issues have already been covered by my predecessors. And these are all the various challenges we faced while regulating the biomedical waste in the state of AP. So, being a complex regulations, the guidelines, as everybody told, waste segregation, handling, transportation, and disposal are the main challenges. And the limited resources, just now Dr. Kishore told about the manpower requirements and the training and all. So due to the limited resources, particularly in the small healthcare establishments, this segregation, handling, and transportation. Segregation and handling is very difficult in small hospitals. We are finding it very difficult in spite of giving a lot of training at hospital level. So this year we have covered almost 800 training programs across the state, particularly to address this part of source segregation and handling. So public awareness is another challenge. So, and last but not least, the operation of CBWTFs. All my predecessors spoken about many issues regarding operational part, and particularly Ravindra Garu has pointed out the various issues during his inspections. That is the most common. Those are the most common problems, and maintenance of chamber temperatures, disposal of ash, segregation at the facility level, and that is a big challenge being faced by the board to enforce that CBM WTFs to follow the rules. So these are the gaps observed. There is no proper record being maintained, particularly by hospitals, healthcare establishments. As of now, the only source for the records is common biomedical waste facility, because they record the quantity of waste they receive and incinerate will purely depend upon that.
వాళ్ళు కనబడట్లేదు అవతల వాళ్ళకి మీరు షేర్ చేయలేదు
ఎవరు చెప్పండి, షేర్ చేశాను.
ఎలా షేర్ చేయలేదు?
So it has been shared, sir. Now you have unshared actually.
1 second, madam. Can you able to see my presentation, madam?
Till now we were, now only we were unable to. Yeah, now I think it is, yeah, now it is again. Yeah, you are shared.
So, yeah. So now, I mean, as of now, we depend only on the data given by CBWTF. There is no proper record being maintained at healthcare establishments. That is one of the gap we have observed. And barcode and QR system implementation also, we could able to achieve 100%. There is no tracking of waste as of now. So tracking is only limited to waste being picked by the common facility and to the disposal point. That is the only part as of now we have. But in the subsequent slides, I will show you how we are tracking the waste now. So manual monitoring of CBWTF, that is only whenever we go for inspections, we were able to cover the CBM and WTF operational part. And now we have taken them online. Online monitoring systems have been introduced, and camera streaming is also taken place. Improper management of ash disposal is another issue that is being observed during our regular inspections. These are all the various improvements made for the last 6 months. So, since our chairman has given a lot of focus on this biomedical waste management, so as per our chairman's vision, we have made a lot of improvements. We have carried, since we have 12 facilities, we felt there is a lot of gap between the actual quantity of generation and disposal. We thought of carrying out a gap analysis study and to identify the scope for new facilities. And we also received so many proposals from the other operators also. Due to CPCB's guidelines, we could not able to give permission for the new facilities. So we started carrying out a study, and the gap analysis studies are underway. We have introduced Bluetooth weighing machines and barcode systems. When the operator goes there to the hospital for collecting the waste, while weighing the waste itself, the quantity of waste is being tracked. Bringing all the registered medical practitioners and private medical practitioners into BMW rules, timely ash disposal by the CBWM, online monitoring of chamber temperatures, fuel consumption, and web camera. These are the online activities we have captured. Regular inspection of HCF more than 100 bed. So see, as per the statistics, these hospitals, more than 100 bedded hospital, are contributing more hazardous waste generation compared to less than 50 hospitals. So we have concentrated mostly on these hospitals, and regular inspection is being carried out to ensure that they collect the waste properly, stored properly, and segregated properly, and transferred waste in time to the CPWDFs. As I told you, we are also bringing veterinary hospital into the ambit and training programs. And see, this is the latest development. We have taken up end-to-end digitization of waste tracking, and we have developed an application, the dashboard, to view the details of generation to disposal of biomedical waste. We have developed an application. We have taken the database from all the 12 facilities. They have 3 softwares. So 7 facilities are using one software. Two or three facilities are using one. The other facilities are using one. 3 different softwares they are using all together. And we have taken all the 3 softwares integrated into our system, and we are taking the data directly from the common facilities. Similarly, we have developed a mobile app for the entering the data by healthcare establishments on daily basis. Every hospital should enter the data into the through a mobile app on daily basis, so that our idea is to cross-check the data that is given by the hospitals and the common facilities. So it has to be matched every day. So what is the total generation of the waste from the hospitals? What is the waste picked by the common biomedical waste facility, and how much they have disposed? So all the 3 figures have to be matched. That idea, we started very recently this application, and we have taken all the hospitals, nearly 10,000 hospitals we have taken onto the board, and we have given the mobile app. Slowly the data from the mobile app is being improved. Once we ensure that all come onto the board, then we start doing analytics, and this is the dashboard. This is how the dashboard looks. You see, even bags also will capture number of bags, color wise, yellow, red, blue, and white. Each color wise bag, how many bags they have lifted, and total facilities, how many, 12 facilities, 2066. So 9,551 hospitals are registered. So this is the data. So all the common facilities data, hospitals based data, and disposal data, ash disposal data, and even the each color wise, what is the quantity they have generated, how much they have lifted, how much they have disposed. All the 3 data they will be captured, and even the temperature, chamber temperature, and oil consumption, that also we are capturing this data. So this is the first registration profile they have to give us, and this is the bed details. This is the login. So very few fields we are capturing: number of bags, weight, number of bags, color coded wise, number of bags and weight, and that's all. And we'll compare this with the CPWM. This is the latest development we have done, and after taking the data, so we thought of developing analytics using this data, and we'll give feedback again back to the both facility and hospitals.
Thank you, Mr. Murli. That has been a very elaborative, presentation indeed. So you have touched every point which I have discussed in the panel. And I'm very fortunate to be a part of this panel, first of all, because the panel is a very dynamic mix of academicians, researchers, hospital MD and CEOs, and scientists, everyone from waste management point of view, especially biomedical waste. So that's indeed an honor to be a part of this panel. So coming to the conclusion remarks, so all of us have one point to put forward today. So every panelist have taken up multiple perspective and multiple dimensions to address to the biomedical waste policy and its revisions, obviously. So definitely, I think all these points will be considered, and definitely your help also will be taken for future endeavors and many such endeavors. And thank you, Indie Global, for giving such a huge platform so every one of us can unite at one beautiful way to collaborate to make much better developmental decisions. Thank you, Indie Global, and the floor is open for the panelists for a little thank you notes.
Thank you.
Hello. So this is actually as per Dr. Kishore Reddy from Amor Hospitals. So you have mentioned about decrease the biomedical waste. So you have to focus on decreasing the biomedical waste than controlling. So I think now you can see the number of hospitals are increasing, number of beds are increasing, patients are increasing, and definitely it is an ongoing process. Continuously increase will be there. Of course, at the same time, we have to also see that how we can find out the alternative mechanisms for uh, disposal of waste, proper disposal of waste. And I think one more small thing that Professor Subodh also said, seek recycling, and Ramki is doing excellent work. I think energy to waste to energy, they have a power plants. That's why I want to mention about 3 R's in a way, biomedical waste management, that is reduce, reuse, recycle. So using the concept of circular economy, there we can minimize the waste. And Morally from AP Pollution Control Board has mentioned about web-enabled. Actually, that there is one Central Pollution Control Board. They have developed an online portal, the biomedical waste management system, web-enabled, web-based application, where all the healthcare institutions track the movement of biomedical waste management. If it is effectively used, definitely the data is available. So this is all from my side.
So any thank you notes from the panelists? So we are about to wind up the session. So,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Before we wind up, Rani Madam, before we wind up, first and foremost, I want to share this particular information. When we sat down to conceive this particular summit, Dr. Kishore Reddy said that he's first time he is participating in a panel discussion on biomedical waste. We also faced the same predicament when we were actually discussing about various issues, and when we brought up this particular topic. There was a little skepticism, but now after hearing everyone, we stand vindicated. It was really, enthralling and very informative, and we learned a lot as well. Thank you so much. But before we wind up for the day, we would like to, as a token of appreciation, give certificates to each one of you. So first, we will begin. Aman, the first one is Tarun Khatula, Director, Sub-Office, Hyderabad, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Next, for Namili Konda Ravinder. I hope I got the pronunciation right. Next, again, it's a tongue twister. I hope I'll get the name right. Dr. Subodh Kandamutham.
Yes, thank you.
Next,
Thanks a lot.
Professor GVRK Acharyulu.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Dr. B. Kishore Reddy. Thanks for joining in, sir. Then next is SSS Murli, Senior Environmental Engineer, AP Pollution Control Board.
Thank you, sir.
And finally, for the young and dynamic Dr. Rani Susmita for moderating the session. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening and
Thank you.
goodbye.
Thank you all the panelists, and thank you, Rani Susmita, for doing a successful and very insightful job. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Goodbye.